Good evening. Hadush Kebatu is to be deported in the next few days after his unexpected 48 hours of freedom. But confidence in the prison system is likely to take a lot longer to rebuild. The government's been trying to get back on the front foot this afternoon. The Justice Secretary David Lammy setting out a series of measures to apparently strengthen the system after the sex offender was mistakenly released from custody on Friday. Kebatu's crime in July prompted protests in Epping. Today in the town, that anger was reignited. Here's our political correspondent, Simon Harris.
Hadush Kebatu's brief taste of freedom after a prison blunder has once again shone an unwelcome spotlight on Epping.
You go to the police station now.
Okay.
So you're under arrest.
This is where he was living in a migrant hotel and where he was arrested in July after sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl. In the high street today, there was plenty of anger.
It should never have happened. It makes you wonder what England's coming to or Great Britain's coming to now.
How can you make a mistake like that? I can't understand it anymore. I don't know what's happened to the country.
Unbelievable, disgusting. Well, that guy that they released, we can't believe it, my husband and I.
Someone's got to pay for it because obviously someone's not done their job properly.
Last month, Hadush Kebatu was jailed for a year, but on Friday he was mistakenly released from Chelmsford Prison. That evening, security cameras recorded him in the library at Dalston in East London. By yesterday, he was back in custody after police caught up with him in Finsbury Park. In the Commons, the Justice Secretary said he would be deported to Ethiopia as quickly as possible.
Mr. Kebatu's victims are rightly outraged about what has happened, and I'm livid on their behalf. And on behalf of the public, this was a mistake that should not have happened.
The Shadow Justice Secretary was scornful.
Calamity Lammy strikes again. It's a national embarrassment. And today, the Justice Secretary feigns anger.
Hadush Kebatu was one of more than 100 asylum seekers living at the now notorious Bell Hotel in Epping. Kebatu's arrest in July led to a wave of angry protests outside the Bell. But one local group is trying to paint a different picture of Epping. A group calling itself Epping for Everyone has been tying multicoloured ribbons to railings to try to send a message that the town is inclusive.
Unfortunately, every time we put them up, they're cut down, normally under the cover of night, which is, you know, it's very sad, and it's, you know, we do this as a gesture of goodwill.
Epping will recover, I have no doubt. It's a beautiful market town. I've lived here all my life, and obviously I know the people of Epping are decent people, we're compassionate people, as I said at full council last week, and we just want to see things move forward now.
The council is hoping that way forward includes the permanent closure of the Bell Hotel. It's awaiting the outcome of a court case seeking an injunction. Simon Harris, ITV News, Epping.
Well, let's go back to Simon now. Simon, this is toxic for the government, isn't it? But to add to that, today we heard that billions of pounds are being squandered, apparently, on asylum accommodation.
Yes, the timing could hardly be worse. In the immediate aftermath of Kebatu's inadvertent release comes this damning report from a committee at the House of Commons, the Home Affairs Select Committee, which, as you say, reports that billions of pounds of taxpayers' money has been squandered on asylum accommodation in hotels, and it's all down to Home Office mismanagement. The Prime Minister said he was angry and frustrated and blamed the mess on the previous government. Labour has promised to end the use of hotels for asylum seekers by the end of this Parliament, but it's by no means clear how that's going to be achieved. So there's certainly increased pressure on ministers, and the Kebatu case hasn't helped. In the Commons, David Lammy announced that there would be an independent inquiry chaired by Dame Anne Owers, a former senior officer at the Met, into what happened. As you said, he hinted that it was caused by human error and that prison officers will now have to use a new, even more thorough checklist before prisoners are released the night before.
Wow, OK, Simon, thank you. Good evening. He's been accused of denying the existence of grooming gangs by his critics, but today the Mayor promised to be completely transparent when it comes to reviewing potential cases of abuse. Nonetheless, when pressed by our political correspondent, Sir Sadiq Khan was adamant that London has not seen the kinds of grooming gangs which operated in Oxfordshire, Rochdale and Rotherham. Simon is at City Hall for us tonight. Simon, the Mayor was alluding to gangs of Pakistani heritage, as was seen in the north, but he didn't say it specifically, did he?
No, Yasmin, it's a phrase he seemed keen to avoid. Earlier this year, he was questioned by Susan Hall, the London Assembly Conservative, about the existence of grooming gangs in London. And the answers he gave led to suggestions that he wasn't being open. Then last week, the Met announced it was going to look again at 9,000 historic cases of child sexual exploitation. So when I spoke to the Mayor, I began by asking him if he'd seen any evidence of grooming gangs in London involving men of Pakistani heritage.
The police are quite clear. Those sorts of awful cases, horrific cases we see in northern towns are not the sort of cases that have been seen in London. They're far more complex in London. But what the police want to do is to make sure nothing's been missed. As part of this review, the police are going to go back over 15 years to make sure that no stone is left unturned, to make sure justice is done.
But just to be clear, you've seen no evidence of large-scale gang grooming involving British Pakistani men?
Oh, the Commissioner's been quite clear in relation to this in recent weeks, but also the Assistant Commissioner. In terms of the specific systemic horrific cases we've seen in northern towns, the perpetrators from one particular ethnic group, the victims from another group, what the police are quite clear about is, although there's no complacency, we've not seen those sorts of cases in London, but this review the police are undertaking, and I've asked them to be completely transparent with Londoners. We'll get to the bottom of this.
Do you accept you could have been clearer when questioned in the past?
Well, I think the issue of grooming gangs, in inverted commas, it means different things to different people. Some people take it to refer to the sort of gangs that occurred in the northern towns. Gangs in London has a different context. It's all about definition.
Why did you give the impression to Susan Hall that you didn't know what she was talking about when she mentioned grooming gangs?
I think it's really important to be precise in terms of what is meant. It means different things to the police in London, gangs. It means different things in London in terms of grooming young people to the northern town cases. We should be really careful in terms of being specific about what we mean, and clarity is really important when it comes to these sorts of issues.
Is there a great grooming scandal to uncover in London?
The police will be fully transparent with Londoners, because it's really important, yes, that the police go back 15 years to look at all these cases, but also Londoners are confident that the police have been transparent.
Simon, what reaction has there been to that interview?
Well, strong words tonight from Susan Hall, the leader of the City Hall Conservatives. She said she asked 8 times in January for answers, and each time the Mayor dodged the question or patronised her. Those were her words. And tonight she said for the Mayor suddenly to be concerned about this issue was both duplicitous and disappointing.
Simon at City Hall, thank you. Good evening. Could the landscape of international rail travel from the capital be about to change forever? Eurostar trains could be forced to drive down their prices as the threat of a Channel Tunnel competitor inches ever closer. Sir Richard Branson's Virgin Group has been given the green light for trains to be serviced at Eurostar's depot in Temple Mills in East London. That is despite the previous argument that there wasn't enough room there to house a rival. It means Virgin could be running high-speed trains to the continent as soon as 2030. Our political correspondent Simon Harris reports.
There was nothing subtle about Virgin's taunt of Eurostar. Ooh la la, screamed the Virgin red banners hung all over St Pancras Station, Eurostar's London terminus. The boss wasn't talking to the media, but he shared his thoughts in a company video.
We love taking on big incumbents. We did it in the airline industry, we did it in the cruise industry, we've done it in even in space.
Virgin's ambition is to be running trains from St Pancras to Amsterdam, Brussels and Paris from 2030 and eventually to Germany and Switzerland.
There's going to be an awful lot of commitment to customer service, to making sure that it's a bit special, something a little bit out of the ordinary. And I think that can only be a good thing, to really start challenging Eurostar, to have someone coming in and saying, let's shake things up a bit, I think can only be a good thing for the consumer.
The breakthrough for Virgin came when the rail regulator gave the green light for the company's trains to be serviced at Eurostar's Temple Mills depot in East London. Eurostar argued there wasn't enough room because it has its own plans to expand services. But today's announcement is only the first leg of a long journey for Branson. Virgin will have to buy a dozen new trains, negotiate access to the high-speed line through East London and Kent, as well as the Channel Tunnel itself, and satisfy both British and EU safety regulators. Eurostar has enjoyed a 30-year monopoly on the cross-channel route, meaning there's been no competition to drive down fares.
Going to Paris today. I think it cost me €65. for the ticket because I bought a Eurostar Snap.
I bought one of those kind of economy premium ones, about 100 quid return or something, maybe 120.
Yeah, it wasn't that expensive actually. It was about, I believe, 120 euros.
I can't remember how expensive it was, but I think a bit of competition could be a good thing.
Before COVID, cross-channel trains called at Ebbsfleet International near Gravesend in Kent. Virgin is under pressure to help reopen the station.
We know it's a commercial issue, and believe me, there's a real commercial case. If I told you that the Ebbsfleet catchment area has actually got more people in it closer to the station than you have in Liverpool, Lime Street, Cardiff, Newcastle or Leeds, that's the sort of area we're talking about. It makes perfect business sense to come to Ebbsfleet.
Faced with the threat of competition from Virgin, Eurostar said it would consider its next steps. Passengers hoping to try the rival service face a wait of 5 years. Simon Harris, ITV News, St Pancras.